Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Sane Prachata Desa Tarane. Shri Krishna Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rup Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Vanchakalpatrubhischa Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitana Pavan Abhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namah. This is first is it's called Aspects of Transcendental Service. The first is servitorship. In the opinion of karmis, fruit of workers, of karma is called servitorship. But according to the Vaishnava acharyas like Rupa Goswami, servitorship is an engagement in some kind of service to the Lord. In the Skanda Purana, it is said that those who are attached to ritualistic activities, the four orders of spiritual social life and the four orders of spiritual life, are considered devotees. But when devotees are actually engaged in offering service to the devotees, those who are engaged in fruitive activities or prescribed duties according to the four orders of social and spiritual life are not the actual pure devotees, because they are offering the result to the Lord. They are accepted as devotees, but when one has no such desire, but acts spontaneously out of love of God, such a person must be accepted. The system are so designed that the condition for sense gratification at the same time gradually along to devotional service and Krishna consciousness. Those devotees who are householders accept Vedic service because both are meant for satisfying Krishna. When householder devotees perform some Vedic ritualistic duties, they do so to satisfy Krishna. As we have previously discussed, any activity aiming at satisfying the Supreme Lord is considered devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami describes one who is fit for becoming engaged in devotional service. He says that persons who are neophytes and who have developed a little love of Godhead are not interested in the activities of sense gratification. Then the result, but if they're in proportion to their devotion. But if there is still some attraction for sense gratifying activities, then the result of such activity should be offered to Krishna. This is also called engagement in the service of the Lord, with the Lord as the master and the worker as a servant. In the Naradiya Purana, there is a statement of how the servitorship is transcendental. It is said that a person who is constantly engaged in devotional service by both his body, mind, and words, or even a person who is not practically engaged, but is simply desiring to be so, is considered to be liberated. Wow. Devotional service and friendship. Devotional service and friendship. The first is to act as a confidential servant of the Lord. The other is not to act as a well-wisher of the Lord. Systematically follows the rules and regulations with the faith that he will achieve the platform of transcendental life. The second type of devotional friendship is to become a well-wisher of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Lord accepts a preacher as the most dear servant. Anyone who is preaching the confidential message of the Gita to the people in general is so dear to Krishna that no one can be equal to him in human society. I promise, and thus I live. The purport is that Draupadi and her 5 husbands, the Pandavas, were put into severe tribulations by their cousin brother Duryodhana, as well as others. The tribulations were so severe that even Brahmadev, who is both a lifelong brahmachari and a great warrior, would sometimes shed tears thinking of them. He was always surprised. And although the Pandavas were so righteous, and Draupadi was practically the goddess of fortune, and although Krishna was their friend, still they had to undergo such severe tribulations. Though their tribulations were not ordinary, Draupadi was not discouraged. She knew that because Krishna was their friend, ultimately they would be saved. A similar statement is there in the 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter, verse 53, where Havis, the son of King Rishabdev, addresses Maharaj Nimi. My dear king, a person who never deviates, even for a moment, from engagement in the service of the lotus feet, of this, which is sought after even by great demigods like Indra, with firm conviction that there's nothing more worshipable or desirable than this, is called the first-class devotee. Srila Rupa Goswami says that a neophyte devotee who has simply developed a slight love of Godhead is certainly a prospective candidate for devotional service. When he becomes firmly fixed in such devotional service, that assured status becomes a confidential part of his devotional service. Sometimes it is found that a pure devotee lies down in the head. This spontaneous love of Godhead may be grouped under devotional service and friendship, surrendering everything to the Lord. Regarding complete self-surrender, there is a nice description in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 29th chapter, verse 34, and is completely given up all other activities, is protected by me personally, both in this life and in the next. In other words, I wish to help him become more and more advanced in spiritual life. Such a person is to be understood as having already achieved Sharsti, having equal opulence with the Supreme. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that as soon as a person surrenders under the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna takes charge of him and gives him guarantee of protection from all sinful reactions. He also instructs from within so that the devotee may very quickly make advancement toward spiritual perfection. This self-surrender is called Atmanivesha, to the mind or to the body. Full self-surrender, therefore, means not only surrendering oneself as spirit soul, but also surrendering one's mind and body to the service of the Lord. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung a nice song in this connection. While offering him, my dear Lord, I offer to you for your service. Now you can do with them as you like. You are the supreme possessor of everything, so if you like, you can kill me, or if you like, you can give me protection. All authority belongs to you. I have nothing to claim as my own. Sri Yamunacharya, in his prayers to the Lord, has expressed a similar idea in the following words. My dear Lord, I may be living within some of the 3 modes of material nature, and I, who am in possession of these bodies, am surrendering myself unto you. In the Hari Bhakti Viveka, there's a statement regarding how one can offer his body in self-surrender. There the devotee says, my dear Lord, as a souled animal has no need to think about the maintenance and sustenance, so because I have given up my body and soul unto you, I no longer concerned with my maintenance and sustenance. In other words, one should not bother about his personal or family maintenance or sustenance. One is actually surrendered in body and soul, should always remember that his only concern is to be engaged in the service of the Lord. Srila Rupa Goswami says that devotional service in friendship and devotional service in self-surrender are two difficult processes. Therefore, such relationships with the Lord can be very rarely seen. Only it is very rare to see surrender, which is mixed with sincere ecstatic devotion. One must give himself completely to the will of the Lord. Offering a favorite article. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th chapter, he will be eternally benefited. Performing all endeavors for Krishna. In the Narada Pancharatra, there is a statement how one can act in all spheres of life for the satisfaction of the Lord. It is stated there that a person who is actually in devotional service must be engaged in all kinds of activities, those prescribed in the revealed scriptures, and also those which are accepted